style of broadcast that I like to call a play-by-play. It's not too unlike watching a sporting event where what the discussing the bears, the behavior that they display. We'll be talking about salmon. There's a ton of salmon in the water right now, and really anything else that catches my attention. So we'll be looking upriver, we'll be looking downriver. If you're watching this on Facebook Live or you're watching this on explore.org, I won't be monitoring the comments in those platforms for questions, but I hope to be able to answer as many of the common questions that you might be thinking of that come up during the next hour. So there's a lot of activity happening on the river right now. In front of me, 2 adult male bears. Just to quickly kind of pan downstream, there's a very large adult male in the water eating his fish. He's caught several fish over the last few minutes. And then looking downstream, there's a couple of bears that are sitting in the water. And that's an area that we call the riffles. And you can see one of them splashing down there trying to grab a salmon. I'll look down into this direction every once in a while. You can see there are other people on the wildlife viewing platform with me. So I'm standing about 12 feet off of the ground. If you're not familiar with this location, Brooks Falls is located about 300 miles southwest of Anchorage, Alaska. It's in the middle of Katmai National Park, one of the United States' largest national parks. And this is Independence Day, so what a great way to celebrate our Independence Day by observing the tremendous wildlife resources in our national parks. And I'm so thankful that explore.org is generous enough to allow me to share this experience with you. Maybe, but it's quite likely. I haven't seen any other bears really challenge him or displace him this year. This is bear number 856. He's a very large adult male. He has wide set, sort of blonde ears. Battling with other large adult males for access to food, fishing spots, females. He's excellent at fishing that plunge pool below Brooks Falls, and we nicknamed that spot the Jacuzzi. On the far side, standing in the water is number 83. He's also a large adult male, not nearly as dominant as 856. He'll consistently yield to 856. He also has a lot of wounds and scars around his neck and face, and that's fairly common for big adult males. At this time of the year when they're shedding their fur, we can really see a lot of those battle scars. These bears are competitors. Maybe we'll see some of that competition between them as they're looking to gain as many calories as they can before they enter winter hibernation. And just beyond him in the far pool is a younger adult male. He is in his, kind of approaching his early teens right now. He was born in 2006, and this is number 89 backpack. So if these bears move around, we'll pay attention to that. We'll see how they interact with one another, and I'll try to describe maybe some of the things that I'm observing that will help you understand. 20 minutes or so, or less than that, since he's come down the Brooks Falls. The bears have been quite, satisfied with their meals today. There's a lot of salmon jumping. It's very easy for them to catch fish. And we're starting to see them actually select for the fattiest parts of the fish. And 856, he kind of lays in the water there. He turns away from us, so it's a little difficult to see what parts of the fish he's selecting for. He may eat the whole salmon. But when they're getting really, really full, they'll eat the skin, the brain, and the eggs. They'll look for the fattiest parts of the fish. And that's a behavior that And the skin and the brain and the eggs are so much higher in fat that it just allows them to gain more calories instead of filling their stomach up with salmon flesh. Waterfall there, but there's a female that's standing in his way, and he's just decided, you know what, I'm just going to eat my fish right here. This female over there I don't quite recognize. There are a lot of bears that come down the Brooks River that I don't know, so it's not uncommon. If you want to try to identify these bears with me this evening and you don't have the Bears of Brooks River identification guide, please download that off of Katmai's website, and you can find a link to that on the left side of the page as you scroll below the Bearcam feed on explore.org. That female kind of exited the vicinity of 89, and she's walking a little bit downriver. So we'll see if she comes and gives us a better view of her later today. A lot of these bears, like I mentioned, probably will be satisfied with their meals today. You can see there's a ton of fish jumping in the water, a few dozen per minute. Get back to the salmon in a moment, but 856 vacated the premises. You can see 89 on that far wall over there. He sees 856 too. When you're a big dominant bear like this, you have a reputation, and the other bears really do respect that. It's not worth it for them to challenge this big bear. He's very assertive. He walks through the river very confidently. Is a very typical dominant adult male. Really doesn't pay too much attention to what other bears are doing. He will, and when he does, he lets them know that he's the more dominant animal. As he's walking along, his ears are up. Ears are often forward, head is up. Number 89 still going down river and starting to move away a bit more rapidly. I'm wondering if 856 is maybe going to try to follow that female. Now that I'm looking at her, I'm not sure if it's a bear that's been identified as number 39, but the bear does at least superficially resemble that one. And number 39 is an adult female. She's had at least one litter. And this could be, you can see 89 just kind of step to the side there. He's going to let 856 cut into that dance. This is the tail end of the mating season. So 856 may be looking for, one of the last opportunities to mate and sire some offspring. All right, and while they move downstream, we're going to pan back upriver because a new bear has entered the frame. And this is number 128 Grazer. She's a very blonde bear, or polar bears here in Katmai National Park. These are all brown bears. But their skull shape can vary considerably. Their faces do vary from one another. So when you're looking at these bears, you can look for those distinctive features. Blonde color, straight facial profile, and fishes the lip of the falls. Those are three really good indications that you're looking at 128. You You can see how quickly she just caught that salmon.